Goodness. Good morning-ish from
San Donato in Collina. It's about 15 minutes outside of Florence.
We arrived last night.
We pulled in the drive around 5.
It felt like 7, 8 o'clock. So yesterday was travel day, and we never film on travel day.
No, it's just a mess. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
And you're an inconvenience to other people when you're trying to get video in the midst of trying to catch planes, trying to do the nonsense. Yesterday, we started off in Florida, got up around 6 a.m. or so, and did our normal day, and then left the house about 3:30. Pick up from Polly, our wonderful...
Thank you, Polly.
Yes, we Polly Uber.
Got us to the airport around 4:30, got in time, got checked in time, and were able to grab a bite to eat, and headed out at 7:30 on a flight.
This is the first time that we have flown since March of 2020. The travel ban went into place about 2 hours after. From that point on, the world changed.
And so here we are 2 years later.
The flights, I went the normal route of Skyscanner, which I use, and they're a website that consolidates deals found around the internet. So oftentimes when you book through them, it takes you to another booking company who then purchases from the airline. I found a nice flight, Lufthansa. I book it, it says it's an economy flight, it says it's Lufthansa, which is great, and then I get the confirmation from the booking company that I use. Then at that point they say, we list all economy flights as economy, but you could have an economy light flight. End all be all, what happened was it was a code share flight with United. It was a light fare, which now light fare on international flights only allows you one carry-on, no checked luggage, no seat reservation, no cancellation policy. Leading up to this, I was kind of nervous about how everything was going to go on flight day. And along the way, I had a lot of problems, I think because of the code share, of being able to download documents for COVID, because that's a new process. I had trouble with seat assignment, prepaying for bags, any of that, which, anyway, complicated.
And we suspect that some of the booking problems with registering for the COVID might have been because of the Green Pass, since the U.S. isn't doing any of the Green Pass, so it's not a QR code. It's taking a picture of your CDC card.
So to kind of narrow all of those COVID restrictions down. So to fly to Italy, when I booked this flight, you had to pre-test, fill out a passenger locator form. That's how it was. Then just maybe a week before our trip, they announced that they were going to ease some of the restrictions, so you no longer have to test for Italy. You still have to test coming back to the U.S., and I have a COVID test that can be taken here. They're internationally approved, so we'll take 2 of those, video conference and all of that, to go back home.
Also for Italy, they require an FFP2 mask that was registered. That's kind of the European version of the N95. Officially, it is the FFP2s.
And so they had some people who who just had surgical masks. They made them go and purchase FFPs in Frankfurt before coming into Italy.
We'd already found out and pre-purchased ours, so it was no problem.
Yeah, we were set. So
some of the biggest challenges, and I can imagine, for people's heads that are a little bit different. And I saw a lot of other people doing the same thing, especially larger men. Instead of hooking the ear loops, because having that on your ears for like 9 hours straight would give anybody a headache. So some of them were using eyeglass hangers and extended their loops and put it right behind their head, so the loops would come around the bottom part of their ears to hold the mask on.
I made him a elastic band with buttons on it, so that's what he used. With my hair down, I found that just hooking them over my ears was fine, but my face is small.
She got a small head.
I got a very small head.
She's got a smush face.
It's not smush face. So I didn't have.
I would have had a headache otherwise.
And the truth of it is we had it on for so long. We finally got the rental car, and in the rental car, I forgot that it was there. We're riding around, and I've still got mine off, and
he's giving me Google Maps,
and he's like, "Take off your mask."
I'm like, "Take your mask off." She's like, "I forgot I was even on."
So it's really not a big deal. We made it through pretty good. Frankfurt Airport at customs was really, really backed up, and we didn't think we were going to get our Florence connection, so that meant running across the airport. I think we did 5 flights of stairs, maybe 10,
probably
up and down.
And probably at least a quarter to a half mile. It felt like a
running
full mile,
across the airport.
About a quarter to a half mile.
Because we were afraid that we were going to miss the flight, and there's not a lot of flights that come directly into Florence.
Our boarding time was actually running about 5 minutes before we got into the customs officer check, so we were still queued up while they were boarding.
Already supposedly starting to board. But luckily they're having staffing issues in the luggage department, so they hadn't even started boarding by the time we got there.
And it did seem like most of that, because we were talking to many people in that queue line, because we were probably in that queue line for about 30 minutes or so, maybe long, 45 minutes.
Maybe 45.
And most everybody there was all saying, "Hey, my flight's about to leave in 30 minutes," and we were saying, "Ours is boarding right now." Like, oh, okay. And there was a lot of that going on, so I think maybe most of the airlines knew that for those connecting flights, had a good idea, so they were delaying flights. It seemed, at least there in Frankfurt, for the time.
So we made it, and then we got to the airport, and our confirmation from the rental car company said that the desk for our rental car company was in the terminal.
Yeah.
And we looked around, didn't find it, so we grabbed the shuttle to the rental car company, and as we're driving up, looking for our name,
as we passed each one of them as we're driving through,
like,
there wasn't on any of them.
So we pulled up the paperwork again and go through it, and I said, it said it was in the terminal, but I didn't see it. So we got back on the shuttle.
Before the shuttle left, we actually got back on it so we wouldn't have to be waiting another 15 minutes or so.
Took us back to the airport. We go back in the airport, look around, can't find the desk.
Talked to the information desk, and she's like, "No, there's not a single one." We showed her the paper. She says, "You're right. It does say that it's here, and it's not here."
So we got on the shuttle again. That took a little bit longer wait because I think it was his break time.
Yeah.
And he left for about 10 minutes and came back, and then we took the shuttle again. And
come to find out, it was a secondary booking, so there seems to be a lot of this
middle management.
So there's a handing off from a main to a secondary to sometimes a tertiary.
So the reservation for the car rental was made through Discover Cars. The actual rental company was Leasis or Lease.
Yeah, Leasis.
That was the actual rental company, and no matter what you book, there are no rental car companies in the airport, and the parking is a 5-minute shuttle away.
It's a 5-minute shuttle and probably less than a 10-minute walk. You do have to cross a few busy intersections, but that's part of Florence.
That's where all the car rental companies are. That's where all of the desks are. That's where all of the cars are parked. It was where we picked up a car 5 years ago when we did the same thing. So picked up the car rental
at Leasis. I don't recall his name. He was extremely helpful. Walked us through everything.
Mm-hmm.
They were having some new maintenance handoff for whoever was detailing car care.
Didn't fill up the tank.
The tank was nearly empty. But that was not a big deal. He just said, "Hey, just return it back about this part." We took pictures of everything.
Yeah. So we feel good about that.
Looked really good, and headed on our way.
And stopped at Co-op in
in
Bagno
Ripley, and then right outside of Bagno, filled up the car.
Yeah, because we needed gas. And drove the way to our villa. Once we got here, we went down to the Bargello
Little meat shop, and then they have a little bakery and a small miscellaneous
stuff.
things. Masks are still in effect for moving through airports, all your entire flight, whatever your flight plan is. Italy is still, even though they've eased their restrictions, everybody is still abiding by that. Here in the little town of San Donato and Colina, 2 people max per small shop, masks on, so they're still taking it very, very serious.
So we grabbed some homemade lasagna that they had for sale, and some focaccia bread, some mozzarella cheese,
some prosciutto,
we'd gotten wine at Co-op.
So.
And so last night we just relaxed. I didn't sleep at all on the plane, so after 24 hours I was a mess. And usually on the first day it's not a good idea to make a lot of decisions or do a lot, because you are in a jet lag fog of sorts. You do stupid things.
It's hard to kind of get your bearings and be able to perform well in that state.
And also, you've been on such high alert all day, running through the airports and the
negotiating and navigating and just making sure. And
so it's nice to come in that first night and just. We had our nice meal and went to sleep about 10 o'clock and really slept good. And this morning we got up and had
around
breakfast.
6:30 this morning.
I slept because he slept on the plane a little bit. I slept none. I was exhausted.
Slow morning. Had a breakfast.
Yeah.
Lots of espresso cappuccinos.
And since we're staying in this gorgeous apartment in this villa,
just
the penthouse.
Spent all morning just taking pictures of the place. There's all kinds of little eye candy, nice.
And just enjoying it, because it's the views are fantastic. In the distance you can hear the church bells ringing, and you've got the birds singing. I can hear music right now.
Here it is, early March 6th, and it was 34 degrees Fahrenheit this morning. We hadn't stepped outside yet, so it was nice and warm and comfortable. I'd say, mid-60s in here?
Probably.
Mid to low 60s.
Yeah, so cool. I don't know what's next. We reached out to our host. We brought a little something for them since we stayed here the last time, so we're going to try to get that to them sometime today, I think.
Good times?
Good times.